I ain't always just trying to change things. It's just when I do get this kind of idea, I go with it. I used to have a job that was just like a regular, warehouse job, right? But I was in that mode of just that Excel mode. You know, that mode where like whatever you do, you go hard. You just like it's like even if you restricted to not going hard in one way, you gonna do two things at a time because your mind is in the mode of going hard. Oh, I can't go hard like this. I'm gonna go hard with that while I do this, cause I gotta go hard. You know what I mean? So I'm in the warehouse job, and I'm just doing so much more than what people in the position that I was in usually do. And it ain't even necessary to do that much. For real, for real. It's like, it's gonna work regardless. I just don't know how to like just chill. Like, I go to work to work. I come to work to work. Whatever I'm gonna get from working, like whatever I'm gonna learn and gain from that experience, I'm gaining it to the max. You know what I'm saying? So I had a supervisor who, he was a great guy, but he's just very traditional. Been there for a long time. You know what I mean? Knew the way things worked around there. And it was a whole lot of work coming. And my job at the time, that day, was to scan old labels and put new labels. So I'm scanning like, so I'm on one side of the belt. And usually, there's the people on this side and there's the people on the other side. And there's one person further down the line on my side. So like anything that I don't scan, they gotta scan. But they also gotta, after the person who sorts everything out, sorts as much as possible, they gotta make sure everything is in line. So my supervisor is like seeing that there's a whole lot more work. Like the workload just got heavy. And he's like, hey, I need you to go that way over there. Now, mind you, I was in a place where I like to have my own space. I'm further up, so I'm not where the people are sorting it around, but I'm scanning so much. Like, it's almost like they barely have to scan at the other end. All they got to do is touch the boxes to make sure that they in line, right? And that's not usually how it goes. Usually somebody where I am, where I would have scanned 10 boxes, they might have scanned 2. Cause you kind of chilling, you kind of relax, you know what I mean? You don't have to go that hard. It's gonna get done regardless. But he was like, hey, go over there. I don't want them to be overwhelmed. They gotta keep up with the stuff. I say, huh? They said, he was like, the workload heavy, they gonna have a lot to do. I'm like, do you see what I'm doing? He's like, huh? Cause he's not used to anybody like thinking for themselves and definitely not talking back. Now, I'm not talking back to talk back. It's all about what makes sense to me, what's logical. So you telling me to go over there because they might get overwhelmed with the workload, but the work I'm doing right here is making their workload super light. So it's like he just had the mindset of the traditional mindset. Usually the way people work, when he see that many boxes coming down the line, he know that all hands need to be on deck at the end, so it ain't overwhelming. Cause usually you just scanning 1 or 2 boxes, and now they got all this extra stuff to do, while you over there lollygagging. But I'm over there getting it. You know what I mean? So I was like, look at what I'm doing right now for a second. and then look over there if you need to, and you'll see like them being overwhelmed is not a thing because I'm doing so much over here. And he looked and he was like, and I was like, I mean, if you really need me to go over there, then all right. But like, if it's really about what you just said, then look first, and you'll see that they all right. They good. Like they barely have to do anything because I'm going in, and it's like this just how I am. It's natural for me. You know what I mean? He looked for a little bit, and he was like, okay, you know what? Stay there. Yeah, you got it. You right. And it was just like, for me, it wasn't about being right. It just, I didn't want to change my flow because the other thing that people didn't seem to realize is like, it's like the closer you are to the end of the belt, because you scanning with these machines that sometimes take a while to print a label. So the closer everybody is to the end, the more likely we're gonna have to stop the belt over and over. So to have both people on one side at the end kind of don't make no sense, because we both gonna have to be walking back and forward and taking time to stop the belt so our scanners can print. But where I was at, I got this whole long walkway. So if my scanner decided to take its time, then bam, I got this whole, by the time it print, I'm still not gonna have to stop the belt. I just be there and walk the belt. And that was my main reason why I had got over there in the first place, why I went. And then I realized I enjoyed the piece of being by myself, right? So what I learned from this experience is that I just have to go with what I know. I have to learn the procedures, learn the rules, learn why things are done the way they are done. And then when I have an idea and I get an understanding that causes me to do something else, as long as I'm still accomplishing the goal, I just gotta do it. Don't ask nobody. Well, I asked a few people a couple things, but that's while I'm learning it, right? And it kind of lets me know what wiggle room I got, what kind of leeway I got, how far I'm really supposed to go, and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, bam. So now I'm doing, when I do my part, we in different positions. But now in different positions, some positions I'm doing something totally different from anybody else when they in that position. Because it's intuitive for me. After I learn the system, now I'm gonna go, okay, I'm gonna go do it that way. So what I really learned though is when I learn it and I do it my way, sometimes there might be a little pushback because people don't understand the way I'm doing it. The world is so used to things being the way they are, the way they've been, that although change is inevitable, change is not always immediately accepted. Sometimes the default is to come tell you to do something based on what it seems, and they're not even noticing what you're doing and how it's affecting what they actually seeing. So when you an innovator, or just a person who like, there's situations like, even me, there's situations where I don't have these kind of ideas and I could just flow with what the procedure is and learn to do that exact thing the best that I can. So he would have never, my supervisor in that sense would have never had to come and be like, hey, go over there, because I would just been over there, because I ain't get no kind of idea. I ain't always just trying to change things. It just, when I do get this kind of idea, I go with it. So when you get those kind of new ideas, and you're accomplishing the mission in new ways. Now don't just think, oh, I got an idea, and then be doing your idea and it's not working. Like, if it's not working better than what the regular procedure is, especially if it's working worse, then you shouldn't even do that. It's like, it's only better. It only worked because when I was doing what I was doing and I looked over, my people had time to do other stuff if they needed to do it. I was making their workload lighter. They could chill if they wanted to. You know what I mean? Now, if that became a problem, that they was chilling, then I would have to change something. But that was never a problem. Only time was when somebody told me they was kind of bored because there wasn't a lot of work coming. So I'm literally scanning every box that came through. So now they just sitting there bored. And they told me, and I was like, okay, so you want me to scan less? They was like, yeah, so we could do something. I'm like, bet, cool. But when it's the load is heavy and I'm just scanning a whole lot, it's like they still gonna have to sort it, organize it, straighten it out. So I might as well scan everything if I can, because they still gonna have a lot of work to do. But it's not gonna be overwhelming like the supervisor who just had the traditional mindset thought it would be. So sometimes you just innovate, you just flow with it. When you see change coming or you think of change, accept it, apply it. Don't avoid it. Apply it, accept it, and let the world tell you to change it if it needs to. And even if it does, make sure it makes sense. Because sometimes you might just have to tell somebody, you might just have to open somebody's mind or somebody's vision to the effects of what you're doing. They might not even notice because they used to how it's been. It's been that way for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And they ain't had nobody show up like you who just doing things in a sense their own way, but just in new ways because their mind just applies patterns and methods to each other. You know what I mean? I learned a method, I learned another method. A lot of times they gonna come together and be a better method. When you get these downloads, these new methods, attempt them, apply them, execute. And that's how we grow. That's how we create new positions. That's how we get into new flows. That's how we make life better. Subscribe and we'll heal. Peace.